That's right, it's time for your weekly dose of dirt bike action. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan and welcome to MXTV. I'm joined once again by Brendan Bell. Welcome, Belly.
G'day Lee, how you going mate? I am so pumped this week.
You are very excited this week, aren't you?
Well, I had a chance to go out for a ride this week. Not very often I do that, so always a happy chappy if I go riding.
Well, I'm glad you're in a good frame of mind, mate. It is time to get into this episode. In this week's show, Macca is back and he interviews Yamaha legend Brock Glover. I get an invite to the Suzuki RMZ 450 launch. We find out everything about insuring your bike, all of this and more.
What? We've got more on the show. It's going to be jam-packed this week.
It sure is. We've got plenty to get through, so let's get into it.
My name's Luke Wilson. We're out here at QMP doing some testing for Supercross. Looking forward to a good season. Finished off on a pretty good note last year with Supercross in the lights class, so looking forward to taking it to the 450s this year. I ride for Wilson's Cool Air Modal Suzuki. It's a new team out this year. We've taken over the Suzuki team and it's been great. Like, everything's working out really good and got a good teammate, Todd Waters, which is good to sit and learn, watch off him. Great mechanic with Corn, and obviously my dad being the manager of the team, so it works out really good for me, you know, like it's a family team for me, but we also got professional people around us that are awesome. I got started racing just through my dad. We got riding when I was younger, like 4 years old, and from then on it just grew and grew and grew, and now my dad's running a race team and we're just going for it. There's no way I wouldn't say that my dad got me to where I am. Like, we do it together and we do it for the love of the sport. I'm in a good position because of my dad and I'm not afraid to say it. We go racing every weekend and it keeps me and him together, so I'm happy to keep doing it as long as I'm moving forward. What I've done in the last few years, I started mostly with motocross and then we slowly moved into Supercross, and I found that I enjoyed that a lot more. Motocross has been pretty up and down for me. I've had a few good results. I've never had a really good whole series, but it's been pretty good. Last year was a good year for me in Supercross, starting to get towards the top 5, and it's where I know I can be on a Supercross track, so I definitely want to pull that out this year and go for it. So having Todd Waters on board, it's been great. He's a down-to-earth guy. He doesn't let it go to his head with who he is. He's just a genuine guy that is happy to help in any way he can. Like, if I got a question about anything, he's happy to help, and it's been good to have that experience around the team and learn from it. What I've learned from having Todd around is probably mainly testing. Previous years I've just gone around and just sort of ridden the bike as it is and always thought it's just been good how it was, but I've put more effort into testing this year, which has made me feel more comfortable on the bike, and it's been Todd that sort of showed me the way of testing and how to speak to the mechanics and how to speak to the suspension people and get what I want. Outside of motorbikes, I do heaps of stuff. I like to do pretty much anything that involves getting my heart rate up. I love surfing, skating, wake skating, wakeboarding. I just love doing anything like that. I'm not real good at most of it, but I love to have a go. I also got a baby coming soon, so that's definitely going to take up some time, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to. Can't wait.
Hi, I'm Jason from the Wilson's Cool Air Motor Factory Suzuki race team. I'm crew chief here with the Suzuki team. Today we're going to show you how to lubricate your cables. Okay, once you've removed your clutch cable from the bike, basically grab your cable luber, sliding it onto the cable, fitting it up and adjusting it up so it seals up. Once you've done that, grab your can of Easy Lube or something similar, installing it into the hole in the cable luber and pressing away. And once you've got the fluid coming out the end, your cable's good to go. The key behind lubing cables is clutch feel. A lot of guys rely on the clutch feel on the bike because you don't want the on and off, you want to be able to slip your clutch well, and that is part of your cable and the lubrication of it. There you go guys, you can see how easy it is to lube your cables off your bike. Basically you need to do that every 2 to 3 rides. It keeps all the sand and grit and gives it a really nice clutch feel and everything. Okay, thanks guys, see you next time.
Swan dirt bike cover, your bike is covered while it's in transit. That could be while it's on a trailer. If it falls off the trailer, it's covered. If the trailer was to roll over, your bike would be covered. If the vehicle towing a trailer actually rolls over and your bike is damaged, your bike is also covered in that scenario. Your motorcycle is covered for theft. If it's locked inside an enclosed building, say your garage, it doesn't have to be fixed or anything, but provided it's in an enclosed, locked area, your bike is covered. It is also covered if it's attached to something with a chain or a cable. It has to be a solid object for your bike to be covered if it's stolen in that scenario. With regards to fire, if your bike is locked up in your garage and a bushfire comes through and your bike is damaged, it is covered. Also, if you're out riding and a fire starts and you have to evacuate and your bike is left there, it is also covered due to the fire damage. A couple of things your bike's not covered with the Swan dirt bike cover is loading and unloading of your bike onto a trailer. If your bike falls over during this period, it's not covered. It's also not covered for normal wear and tear. It's not covered for mechanical breakdown, and it's not covered for electrical faults as well. With Swan dirt bike cover, we don't put any restrictions on who rides your bike while you have your policy with us. We will allow you to add an extra 20% to the market value of your unit for your insurance policy to allow you to add things like handlebars, grips, wheels, plastics, and a whole range of accessories that are available. Riding gear and your helmet both aren't covered under this policy. You do have the ability to pay your premium over a 12-month period on a monthly basis. We don't charge any extra fees to allow you to do this. You do also have the ability to make it a once-off annual payment. Another policy that will interest dirt bike riders is a policy we have called Rider Protection Plus. If the customer is admitted to hospital or spends 12 hours in hospital for treatment that they require from a motorcycle injury, you'll receive a $2,000 cash payout, and the maximum benefit on this is $10,000 over a 12-month period. This policy covers recreational riders and racers also, be it motocross or enduro racing. To arrange cover for your motorcycle, you can contact our friendly staff on 13 Ride, or you can go to our website at swaninsurance.com.au.
Welcome back to MXTV. Well, Macca's back with his legendary interviews. And for this one, he's got an exclusive for us as he sits down and chats with Brock Glover, 6-time AMA National Motocross Champion.
Welcome to MXTV. Very privileged to have Brock Glover here, 6-time AMA champion. How are you, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, this isn't the first time you've been to Australia, is it?
No, it isn't. I think the first time was probably 1981 or 82, I think it was. I don't remember exactly the year. And I also came back a couple more times. I raced a Supercross race in Perth. Jeff Leask and his father helped put it on. I'm starting to really enjoy the vintage, what we call vintage racing or the classic racing. And it's, you know, the people are just, they really enjoy, the people enjoy the sport for all the reasons that we all started racing motorcycles. You know, the ability to work on your own motorcycle and jump back on the bike for the weekend's race. And it's just fun to remember the times that we all had back when we started racing and we were a little younger.
When did you start racing?
My dad knew about it, but my mom did not know about it, and she wasn't real happy that we did it behind her back. And then I really started racing when I was 14 years old. But at that time, in the US at least, you could race more than once a week. You know, you could race on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday or both, and you could race what we called were night races, and they were the precursor to Supercrosses.
What was your favourite race?
It's always hard to put one particular race as my utmost favorite. Probably my proudest moment as a racer, I think, might have been like in 1983 when I was on the Trophy to Nations team, which was like the Motocross of Nations, and racing at that time in Czechoslovakia, which at the time was an Iron Curtain communist country, and to be able to go over there and win the race and to be able to stand on the podium and listen, you know, see your flag raised and hear the national anthem played in front of all those people. And I think it would be similar to what an Olympic athlete would feel like standing up on the podium and seeing an Australian flag or an American flag being raised.
Now, still today you're involved in the industry with Dunlop. Yeah. How have tyres progressed in your time?
The one thing, if you ride a vintage or a classic motorcycle, is put modern tires on your bike, because the suspension is not that good on some of the early motorcycles, and having good tires helps a lot.
where do you see the future of the sport going? I mean, what can they do to it next year? Like they've done everything to it. So where do you see any big leaps and bounds there where the sport's going to go?
I am amazed how good the modern motorcycles are and motocross bikes. It's changed everything. It's changed how you ride. It's changed the whole dynamics of the sport. They are fantastic motorcycles. I do have a little concern of the cost of racing and what's happened in racing, but what we really need is to have more participation. We need to have more people coming into the sport, more people realizing this is a wonderful, wholesome family activity. What an unbelievably great weekend to spend with your son or your family together at a race and doing it as a family event. But when you have to have a choice between can I afford to live in my house and have food on my table or buy a motorcycle, then I think we have to stand back and try to reevaluate where the costs are going in this sport. Yamaha's doing a really good job of trying to bring the family, they've got a new program in the United States, and I think it's going to be globally, the Blue Crew, and it's all about that. It's a support, when you buy a Yamaha, you become part of the Yamaha family.
Welcome back to MXTV, thanks to S1 Insurance. Well, this year, Suzuki decided to have a launch for their RMZ 450, and Lee was there to check it out. Let's see what he got up to. We're in beautiful sunny Queensland, Toowoomba to be exact, for the launch of the new 2017 model RMZ 450. The track is in sensational condition, nicely ripped, a lot of moisture down. Can't wait to get into it. This is such an iconic track.
Taking a lot of that chunk out, even the welds, instead of being straight, runs up the side there.
Now, the new 450, relatively unchanged for 2017. All the changes are purely cosmetic, and we'll start with some very cool looking black rims rather than the silver from 2016. We've got some black side plates, but instead of having the black rear fender, they've swapped it around and gone for the yellow fender. So, completely different look, and I must admit it does look quite cool.
Once again, a great overall package of a bike, good suspension, unreal motor. I've been riding one for a couple of years, love the engine on these things. Good all-round bike, well balanced. Obviously a bit of a different look this year for the bike. A lot of black gone through it, the black wheels, black triple clamps, and I'll just notice the black spring on the bike as well, gives it a really unique look for the 2017.
We played with the ECU couplings, both the standard, the rich and the lean. I myself was definitely a fan of the lean coupling. Gave a little bit more bottom end punch for the power. I like a torquey bike that can ride through a higher gear. So we played around with those and I was happy with the lean setting. We also played with the start, so the whole shot device. And again, I was actually a fan of the first setting, so setting number 1, which is a little less aggressive, but it works well with a 450 because there's a lot of bottom end power where it just wants to wheel stand.
Still a great motorcycle, while it's not a huge host of changes. It is a pure nuts and bolts race bike that rides really well, has a good spread of power, good handling, great steering, and a range of options with suspension and motor components to make it really worthwhile.
Well, what an absolute cracker of a day here at Echo Valley, Toowoomba in Queensland. The sun was shining, we had a bit of moisture on the track, and of course we were testing the new RMZ 450 for 2017. The bike is very, very nice. Not many changes, just cosmetically, so to the naked eye, looking pretty damn good. But out on the track, it works exceptionally well. It does everything the same as it did last year. It handles well, the shock works good, forks work very nice at the front, and a very nice, smooth engine package. Well, thanks once again to Suzuki for putting on an amazing day here at Echo Valley. Make sure you go and check out the latest 2017 model Suzuki 450s in your local dealership. We're here at Park 4 MX on a beautiful sunny Thursday. The track is absolutely fantastic and we are all set to test a brand new 2017 model Suzuki RMZ 250. Now, as far as the changes go for the new model, there's not too much to mention. Obviously, bold new graphics. At the rear end of the bike, instead of the black rear fender, we've got a nice yellow fender. The side plates are black and it completely changes the look of the bike. I really like it, massive fan. Black rims really set the bike off, and overall, it's a very nice looking machine. As far as the chassis, motor, suspension, no major changes, just a little bit of tinkering here and there. So aside from a few changes to the looks of the bike, a little bit of internal changes up front with the forks, essentially, we're talking the same machine here. Another notable mention for the yellow pocket rocket, we've got to mention the 3 ignition couplers. They come with the choice of a leaner one, a richer one, and of course the standard, which fits in the middle there. The launch control works fantastic on this bike last year. Interested to see how it works this year also. And of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Finishing second this year in the MX2 World MXGP, of course to Hurlings on the KTM, who did such a fantastic job. This is a machine that can win races and finish right up there on the podium. Well, what a day it's been out here. Perfect conditions, the track is sensational, nice deep ruts, and of course, Boydie knows how to build those big jumps. I had a great time on the new Suzuki 250 for 2017. This bike has a sensational power plant, lots of bottom end, lots of mid-range, lots of top end. Very rare you'll get an MX2 bike with all 3 going on at the same time. I didn't mind the suspension too much, a little bit of tinkering needed up front with those air forks. Make sure you get those clickers right, because there's so many variations that you can come up with. The thing that stood out to me straight away on this bike, and being a little 250 really did surprise me, was the bottom end. So long as you're in a low enough gear, this thing had so much bottom end and would just pull you even out of the deepest corners here at Park 4 MX. There's a couple of things on this machine that you don't really notice while you're out there riding. However, they're very, very cool and they add so much to the bike. For example, the Renthal fat bars, one of my favourite bend bars coming stock on this bike. The levers feel really nice, standard. You don't need to go and upgrade them to an aftermarket one straight away. The gripper seat works so well, very tacky. There's no moving around whatsoever. The standard foot pegs, nice and wide, and they didn't get jammed up too much in the rutted corners. So a few notable mentions there for this bike. My one thing that I could pick though, the chassis needs a little bit of an update. It just feels a bit bulky, a little bit rigid, and I like a bit more feel from my bikes, but I've got a funny feeling it won't be too long and we'll see that from Suzuki. But overall, what a fantastic machine. Well, a big thank you to Suzuki Motors Australia for allowing us the opportunity to test their new model Suzuki RMZ 250 here today. And of course, a big thanks to Boydie for this sensational track at Park 4 MX. I had a ball. This bike is something you need to keep your eye on, you Suzuki fans out there. Go have a chat to your dealers, see if you can strike a deal. Going to be right up there this year.
For all your motorcycle insurance needs, visit swanmotorcycle.com.au.
Well, that's about all we've got time for in this episode. Thanks so much for joining us. However, if you missed out on any important information, simply head over and download the 7 Plus app and be sure to check out the keywords for the Ryan Dungey giveaway.
Very, very importantly, because there's only 2 weeks to go and that is it. We're giving it away, sort of. You've got to get it out of my hands and good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck getting it off belly. Well, that's all we got time for. Thanks for joining us. If you manage to get out on the motorcycle, make sure you keep it rubber side down. Thanks for joining us.